Hello, Bloodstains. Been a good week, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been interesting.
Yeah, well, yes, I certainly feel very happy about how my game went. Uh, I think our predictions, unsurprisingly, and as everyone keeps teasing us about, were awful.
That's fine.
But yeah, let's get down to our awful predictions. Um, so, Grandmother Ghoulies, you said 2-1, I said 2-0, and the score was 3-1. So you're kind of closer, but none of us were really there. Um, we're doing a slight change to well, I've done a slight change to how I'm doing my notes because hopefully it'll be a bit quicker because I don't want us to get to another hour and 20 minutes sort of thing. But let's see how this goes. So we've got the Ghoulies on the versus the Nightmares. Drive one, Ghoulies. Drive one is the Ghoulies. Liam took 4 turns. Could have laid more if he wanted to, but at no point did Barry apply enough pressure. Barry didn't really roll that well though. Liam got nice injury dice. The score was done by Remainer. Wolfman, Wilhelm Cheney were knocked out. Cheney was fouled, and also Ed was also knocked out. Drive 2. All the KOs came back apart from Wolfman. The Nightmares receive. Barry fails to pick up the ball, and pressure is applied again, and he fails to pick up again. Liam steals and delays until the end of the half. Score once again by Remainer. The KOs were just it, and Ed again. It was fouled again. Oh, and but Lona was fouled on the other side. Drive 3 was like a half a turn. The Nightmares receive. All KOs came back apart from it. 1 turn bash first before half time. Nothing was hurt. Drive 4, it does not come back from the KO. Nightmares receive. Um, Perfect defense helps stunt Barry's progression. Barry loses the ball on the 3rd turn of his drive, but is able to recover it. The pressure is intense over the next few turns, so he scores on turn 12 with Freak. Knockouts were grammar schools, and we had some injuries for once. Michael Gove on one side, but his regen succeeded. Cheney on the other side, his regen fails, and Wolfman, his regen succeeds. Drive 5, all KOs return except grammar schools. Perfect defense again. Nightmares on the attack, but they get a touchback. Pressure was intense, so the breakaway comes late. Remainer scores at the death, 3-1. KO being Wolfman, injury being Brexit, but he succeeds, and a strong regen fails. So yeah, Barry got unlucky on the dice initially, but I think it was fine in the end. Let's have a look at statistics. As you can see, lots of ball possession for the Ghoulies, as you'd kind of expect if they were dominating the game. More blocks succeeded, lots of KOs inflicted, a couple of fouls, but mainly it was just by outbashing them, having the initiative. If we go look at dice rolls. Ghoulies seem to be getting good dice there actually, much better than it actually appeared. If we look at the D6s, on the block dice, not many powers compared to pushes though, Alistair.
No.
And if we look at the Freddy's Nightmares dice, anything stand out to you there? Lots of fours, not many twos. That seems actually quite good, but the bash dice, surely they're going to be bad. Yeah, they're actually a little below where you were expecting with the pushes compared to both downs. I don't think their team has much block.
No, they don't.
Yeah, I remember Barry did have an attempt to surf play. He took 3 attempts to surf this one player. This player was with Cheney. This one player was just a zombie as well, but Cheney was forced into it and took 3 turns to surf the player. But yeah, if we look at SPP, that's a lot of SPP for Remainer. 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Quintus Kane was the loner. I doubt Liam would keep him even with the MVP because it wouldn't fit his naming progression.
No.
Boris Johnson getting one of the injuries, Strong getting another injury, so that's how those two got their 2 SPP. Freak gets the other touchdown for Nightmare, so that's where his 3 SPPs came from. Don't know what Ian Pin had to get to deserve 2 SPP. I can't remember. Was it passes? Was it passes? No, it wasn't passes. God knows what it was. I couldn't remember. Any level ups, sir? Did you any level ups?
I think Remain has probably leveled up.
Yeah, Romaina's probably got a level up. Let's find my bearings and actually get to that. Where is it? Grandpa the Ghoulies. Romaina, yeah, Romaina was a new ghoul, or at least a 0 SPP ghoul. So Romaina is, for his first level up, went and got Block. Obvious choice.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Boris Johnson's a touchdown away from another level up, so I suspect whoever's playing him next should be wary of that. Yeah, no other level ups for him.
One more match and he can get his second werewolf. If we don't kill any more of his players.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. And then, so no level ups for the Nightmares, you said?
I think the white already had that.
Yeah, let's have a look at the white. Yeah, the white already had the armor up. So no level ups for these guys. Actually, no, the White Walker got a level up. White Walker got a level up.
Yeah, block.
So, yeah. Just looking at that, you could realise how the both downs are really going to affect Barry because he didn't really have the players with the skills.
Well, he brought it on himself. He gave his werewolf catch.
Oh dear.
Less said about that.
Yeah. Now to your first game, Alistair.
So this was an interesting game going into it. The Forgotten Fridge Raiders definitely took a wizard. They both got to get the ref. They got to get the ref kickoff event. Daniel didn't foul at all, so I'd maybe just he couldn't work it into his game. And the kickoff, yeah, it happens. Matt gets the ball and he injures one of the Chaos Dwarves with a significant minor stat injury. So Daniel uses the Apothecary and brings him back. And then the Minotaur gets injured. That was he had a Bull Centaur surfed off and a couple of KOs, and he just didn't have the numbers. And the Forgotten Fridge Raiders just steadily marched up the pitch, marked up the players that he could, try to keep the other Bull Centaur down on the floor, and was able to stall it out until a turn 8 touchdown. So not a lot of fancy plays at all, but
very bashy, very strength.
Getting the injuries and the bashing, and Matt did the right thing. He didn't go for a quick touchdown, and he just stalled it out until the end because obviously the IDF had KOs, so he was being a bit cautious for that. Then, like many games, it seems this season, Nuffle decided to change his mind at halftime, and IDF was just KOing all of the Forgotten Fridge Raiders. He didn't get any significant injuries, but he did KO off quite a few of the players, so he was able to dominate that half, although the Forgotten Fridge Raiders get a bash onto the Hobgoblin who's got the ball, and that bounces off, but he's retrieved by a Chaos Dwarf, which was probably would have been his preference to get a touchdown with him anyway. And similar again, he just steadily marches down the field. He goes for an earlier touchdown. So
maybe thinks he can get a steal.
Yeah, I think so. He leaves himself with 2 turns, so not a huge amount for Chaos Dwarves there, but I mean, again, stalling is a fine art, and if you're unsure whether you can protect the ball carrier, then you're better off just getting the touchdown. So certainly no criticism there. Just for a pretty standard grindy 1-1 tie, really. But like I said, it was one of those games, the dice seemed to be favouring the Fridge Raiders in the first half, and then that completely reversed in the second half.
Let's look at the statistics.
Look at the stats.
Ball possession. Yeah, ball didn't spend much time on the ground, which is always good. Lots of injuries, as you can say. 5 injuries is quite a lot.
Yeah, all round.
All around, lots of stuff. An interception sustained. Oof.
I forgot. Yeah. So on Matt's vanity pass at the end of the second half, I think it was a bull centaur intercepted it.
Good for him. Good for him. Right, let's look at the SPP then. Wee Man getting 11 SPP. God, he was carrying the team. Wee Man, I would say MVP. Not a touchdown because Bighorn Valdo's got the touchdown. So I reckon Wee Man's got all 3 of the injuries, and I'm pretty sure Wee Man's a goat. Without Mighty Blow, I think Wee Man has Wrestle as well. So that's a lot of SPP on one player. If he doesn't get a level up, I'll be surprised. Bit more of an even distribution for the IDF. We'll see who's got level ups there in a second. Looking at dice rolls. Oh, cruel. Bribe failed. That's a shame.
Oh yeah. There was one foul the entire game, and then Matt's bribe failed. It was only on a rod, so I don't think he was crying too much about it.
Yeah, the dodge rolls are pretty bad for Matt as well. Everything else seems to be about where you're expecting them, to be honest. I mean, Nurgle mainly armor value. Edge 2, so it's a bit unlucky, but actually kind of within distribution.
Yeah.
Looking at his bash dice, you can definitely feel a bit hard done by with the amount of both downs. Though, judging by where his team is, that's probably not too big a deal. His power to push ratio is a bit low, but his stumbles to push ratio is slightly favourable. So yeah, that's him, and then we look at the IDF. A bit more skulls than you're expecting, a bit more both downs than you're expecting. It does depend where those skulls are, but it doesn't really matter for the IDF anyway because of there being a 12 team. Their D6s, lots of 3s. Everything else seems to be within distribution. Though you could argue those 5s are a bit high. Though I reckon that the whole thing rounds out at about 23 or 24 where those D6s should be. Looking at those dice rolls, nothing again seems untoward. Anything you think suspicious? Actually, that's quite low, quite harsh on his foul appearance. You should be expecting about 83%.
Yeah, he did get caught out a couple of 7 failures. It's probably the most foul appearances that happened in a match for Matt.
Yeah, but to be fair, most people don't really go for bashing against the Nurgle. They normally, well, apart from 1 or 2 teams, but yeah, you can say he's a little bit hard done by, but it doesn't matter too much. You got the draw in the end. So yeah, that's that game done. Where's the level ups then, Alistair?
Oh, I haven't been well, so I didn't do what I said I was going to do and check it.
Alright then.
So we can have a quick look. I'll try to do it for next week.
I'm feeling that Wee Man has a level up.
No, wrong.
Wee Man's getting 11 SPP, so yes, he has got a level up. And he's got piling on. I was mistaken, Wee Man is not a goat. Bighorn Valder is the goat, that's what I was thinking of. Piling on.
So he's got his kill player now.
Got a kill player. That's going to be scary. He still needs to get Bam Bam Margarine block if he's not going to go for tentacles on it. Yeah, that's a tight team. That's a tight team. It's super solid. I've got ideas. I've got ideas how I'd beat it, but I don't really want to share them.
No, that's right. It's tough leveling up the Nurgle Warriors, though, in fairness to him.
Let's look at IDF. Knowing that his SPP was a bit more distributed, anything stand out to you? Shimon Perez may have gained stand firm. I think he might have because he did get 5 SPP this game. I know that he didn't get it because he wouldn't have then. If he got 5 SP, that's not enough, so he hasn't got a level up there. Doesn't look to be any level ups, though we could be mistaken, and I suspect you will correct us in the comments. Sorry, guys, we weren't on our we weren't in the top 4 last week. I'm sorry.
Oh well, that happens. But as we could mention, I suppose, that the minor tour, when it did level up, has rolled 2 doubles for claw and block, which is kind of good for a chaos dwarf minor. So
Yeah.
that's definitely going to be a player to watch if it doesn't get injured by the second turn like it did this game. But you know, these things happen.
We predicted this game would be 1-0 each way. I said it would be to Leah. To Daniel. You said it would be 1-0 to Matt. Both of us were wrong. Yet more proof that we're terrible at predictions.
That's right.
Alright then. Next game. Commissioner Gibbs, Barmy Army versus Roland Rat. More of these quick notes that I managed to do. This time, Barry receives. Barmy Army receives. Phil took his time, waiting for the injuries to start rolling in before making his move. Lots of pressure was applied beforehand, though. His fouling game was not that strong, so it did take a bit of time. He loses the ball on turn 5, but is able to recover and score at the death. Madman Mick, Rat 4 and Rat 12 were all knocked out. But the injuries all were for the Rats. Galart Jr., Rat 11 and Rat 2 were all injured. Ruthless Rob / J was also injured, but he was apoed. Second drive, there was only 1 turn in it, so all KOs came back. Rob receives, does not go for the 1-turn touchdown, which is a bit disappointing. I always love to see a good Rat 1-turn touchdown. The bash game didn't do any lasting effect. Drive 3, Rob receives. We're now in the second half. Rob tries for a 2-turn touchdown, but is hampered by a severe case of the deaths. Makes the pass on turn 3, but scatters off the pitch and then bounces back into the middle of the pitch. Phil picks up the ball, but is knocked away for a 2-die uphill wrestle. Phil takes his time to grab the ball, and it's stolen back off him. But the Rat fails the 2+ dodge. Phil grabs the ball and coasts home for a 2-0 with a handoff to Rowdy Rob / J. The KOs were Angry Joe and Rat 10. The deaths were Slippery Sam, Rat 4 and Rat 12, who was fouled. So his foul game didn't start very well for Phil, but it did eventually pay off in the end. Slippery Sally. I think it was Slippery Sally, not Slippery Sam. But either way, it wasn't. It was the gutter runner only had block, I believe. So it wasn't one of the more important gutter runners that got killed. The fouling players obviously were very powerful. Did very well this game. 4 armor breaks to 16 is ridiculous. Even when you consider that he has claw and he has a couple of claw players. So does Rob. If we look at statistics, ball possession obviously is going to be in the favour of the Chorfs, as the Chorfs keep the ball more. Lots of injuries inflicted. It's really shame because I felt that the game was over after about 3 turns. When the injuries started rolling in, it's difficult when they start piling in injuries.
Yeah. It's the risk you take when you play Rats, like.
Looking at the SPP, that's a lot of SPP for Phil. We're looking at elf numbers there. We're looking at 21 SPP just by my initial count. And the cruel thing is, no SPP for Rob because Galart Smashrip Jr. gets the MVP. He did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. He did 1 block and then got injured. It's ridiculous. Looking at the dice rolls, Commissioner gives Barmy Army. Anything surprising there? The 25% catch, but you know, they're 4+ catches anyway, so that's within deviation. Going for it that way you're expecting them. Everything else seems to be fine. Here's block dice though. I suspect they are slightly better than what you're expecting. That push to stumble and that push to power ratio is higher than you're expecting. Again, both downs are pretty much irrelevant for Phil because of his the fact that he's a Chorf team and almost every player on the team has block. Skulls, obviously, the skull to push ratio is exactly where you're expecting it. And if we look at Rob's dice, D6s, that's a lot of 1s. But that's
That
also
is a lot of ones.
that is also a lot of dice in general, though. So we're probably looking at about 27, 28, about where the dice should be. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not too high. It's just when you compare it to those twos, it's a bit low.
Well, he was down players, so I imagine he was taking a lot more risks than he normally would have done.
Yeah. The dodges were unfavourable considering he has gutter runners and his gutter runners are the main players doing the dodging. Because 67% is Edge 3 ratings, not really Edge 4. Anything else then surprising? Not really. But just unlucky on it. Just failed. Just unlucky with the initiative. Block dice. Not many skulls though. So you can say his block dice were pretty good.
I think, yeah.
Though of course since both downs aren't going to be doing much against Chorfs, you can just say his pushes are a bit low really, more than anything else, and his lack of skulls. Not many dice, but those dice were still better than my dice against Daniel.
Yeah, I imagine he was trying not to stand too close to the dwarves when he could avoid it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how that game went. Looking at the SPP, I suspect there's some level ups here for Phil. Where are you, Phil? I'm trying to find Phil on here. There you are. Bottom left.
Right,
Okay, any level ups. Megan didn't get a level up. Rob/J did get a level up. Claw, hooray! Some claw on this team. That's exactly what these Chorfs need. More hurtiness. Oh dear. They're gonna win. They're gonna win this league. I'm convinced.
Well, the claw's only TV bloat against you, so you know.
Yeah, but Claw gets him to a final, and he's got the skill to get to win the thing. He is the best coach according to statistics in the league, so I wouldn't be surprised. Nothing's going toward there. You can correct us once again if we've made any mistakes. I don't think there's any more level ups there, and no level ups for the Roland Rat, but we'll look at them anyway. Because they've lost a couple of players. They're down to 3 gutter runners for their next game. Oh, poor them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they don't have any loners next game, which is good/bad. Whoever they're playing. Oh, I know who they're playing. I reckon they might lose to who they're playing. They're in a bit of a position. They're gonna. It's an ideal time to be playing this team.
Yeah.
Like I would be very excited to play that 11. I said we didn't see the end of Angry Joe, which is what I hoped to see. Be saying. So will Slippery Simon score that get that final SPP?
1 SPP.
That singular SPP.
For the whole season.
The worst part about it would be if he gets it via an MVP. He does nothing all game and gets the MVP. Dies and gets the MVP. Oh, that would be great. Okay. So good luck to the person playing them next. So Alistair, Snobby Snobs versus Lustry Headhunters.
Yeah, it was an interesting match. Chris received the ball, and he set himself up for a long pass quite early on. And he went to do the pass, and it was intercepted by one of my blitzers. And I was actually able to drive the ball quite deep into his half. But, you know, Els being Els, he's quite capable of dodging away and marking and screening a bit. But I was able to mostly free the ball carrier up, but I failed the dodge roll. Like 3+ dodge roll, and I failed it. I'd already used my re-roll, and the player had tackles, so that was the end of that. And the ball carrier knocked themselves, so that was fun. So Chris was able to just pick up the ball, and he sets up for another pass, and there's not much I can do to stop him. By the end of the first half, I had 2 injuries and 4 KOs. I mean, you know, I missed my chance. Failing that dodge roll was basically it for me in the first half. Chris was able, like I said, he got quite a few casualties in, and he delayed. He didn't go for a touchdown immediately. He did stall it out, which was probably the right decision because I was down so many players that had a potential to come back. And yeah, he did his pass and he got his touchdown. So, you know, that was sort of fair play. And then in the second half, most of my KOs actually did come back. But I wasn't really making a lot of ground on my own injury rolls. So I wasn't, he was just able to basically control the pitch and control where I was going because he's faster and more agile than me. I did manage to sort of break away with the ball carrier. And I got into a position where the ball carrier was actually by the sideline with 3 Ls along the side. But I had the chance to try and move a few players out. But, you know, miss agility for strength for decided that was a perfect time to roll 2 ones in a row for a dodge roll. That was basically that. He actually rolled a both down with a player with the wrestle skill, so he didn't surf the player off, but he was able to pick up the ball and just a few more KOs and that, and I just couldn't stop him getting the second touchdown. So he played pretty well. I wouldn't have said my dice were particularly bad. They just failed at pinnacle times.
We'll look at that in a bit, won't we?
Yeah, you know. So I'm certainly not. It certainly wasn't down to poor overall dice rolling. It was just I failed at pinnacle times, and he was able to just outmaneuver me and control the pitch.
Well, so before we go on to this, I'm gonna say you deserve to lose that game. You deserve to lose that game after the shenanigans you were saying last week, and then you didn't take your own advice. We'll look at that the dice rolls in a bit, and you'll see what I mean.
Down players, though,
You're down players. Not an excuse. Yeah. Not an excuse. Not an excuse. Yeah, he has less possession of the ball, but you know that's kind of what you're expecting with elves. Though despite having less possession, he gets more running yards and he gets more passing yards, and he gets more injuries because you know he has higher armor than you do. So he's got everything on you really. Unfortunately, you managed to get that intercept for him. I love it. I do love it when it says occupation of the ball in your own half 0%. Love it. Brilliant. Beautiful. Straight into the action there. Looking at the SPP. Proper elf numbers there. What we're looking at there, we're looking at 18 SPP. It's low on the elf side. That's still good. Looking at his dice rolls though. Snobby Snobs. Their dice are actually pretty bad. Dauntless is about where you're expecting it. Dodge. Those dodges, the amount of dodges was a bit low for the Snobby Snobs. Though I suspect that armor is not. I suspect that armor is a bit high. 3 players resist the. Was it 3 players resist the fireball? Or was it 3 players failed the fireball? Because that's always confusing.
Yeah, I don't think the fireball actually did very much that game. So I'm going to go with 3. I can't even remember when that's done. It certainly didn't turn the game around.
Nothing untoward there really. They're going for it. Obviously, he's only made 4 go for it all game. That's a lot of dice. He's been obviously having a bit of the bash. Slightly high skulls compared to push, but when you're looking at that, so we're looking at that. Again, slightly high pals to push as well, but only slightly. And of course, since he doesn't have much tackle, it's good that he's got low on the stumbles for himself. So yeah, he's got the dice he needed. I wouldn't say they were particularly lucky. It was just what he needed. Looking at your dice, your d6s. Well, you could argue that. Sorry, I'm not actually looking at my team yet. That is a lot of dice you've rolled there.
Yes.
That is a lot of dice. Yeah, dodges. You've played about where they should be. Going for it's a bit low. You can say for that, but you do make a lot of go for it.
With this team, I do.
Yeah, being the movement 6 and all that. Interception, obviously that's nice and lucky. Yeah, nothing too surprising there. Let's look at your block dice and let's count 1, 2 ice, 3 times, 4 times, 5, 6. 6, both down. 6, one dice. After complaining about it, I've got to dig you on that one.
Yeah, but I always follow it up with, there are circumstances, and when you're down players in a slightly bashed team, I stand by my decisions.
Okay.
I mean, particularly as most of my team has block. I mean, that most of those one dice were probably done after I'd lost enough players, and
I am ingesting, of course, but it is always fun to tease you about it. But you were unlucky with the amount of skulls you got. Let's be honest with that. It's 19 skulls. Never nice to see.
Yeah, I guess my block dice, actually looking at the dice, probably could have been better, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah, and quite a lot of those skulls are either paired up with a both down or not paired up at all. 5 pals, oof, that's a bit low. Yeah, other than the skulls, everything is kind of in ratio because of such a low sample size. So yeah, you're a bit unlucky. There. Looking at SPP. Did you get any level ups, Alistair?
No, I didn't get any level up.
Alright, now let's work out if Chris got any level ups. I suspect he's got level ups because his TV has increased. Though it could be... Oh, no, it's not a new player, it's just... Name your players, Chris! No idea if he's got any more level ups. I think Hofborn Van Val's got a level up because I don't think he had dodge last game.
Yeah, I think he said in the comments he got a level up. I think that's right.
Yeah, let's assume it was just Hofborn and leave it at that. Go on, Chris. Tell us we're wrong. Tell us we're wrong. Alright then. Now, next game. My game. I'm not even going to bother to in too much detail on this. First half. Sorry, Leon. Sorry, Leon. You you deserve better than this. But there was just so much. First half, obviously, Leon had the first drive. So Leon was receiving in the first half. I stole 3 times, as you can see. I stole 3 times. Though I wasn't getting the... well, my tackle players weren't seeming to injure the skinks in the first half, which was a bit infuriating. Though 3 steals, and the third one was important because it was turn 8 for Leon. We doing the setup for the next drive. I set up 3 players on the line, and he looks like he's going for a one-turn touchdown attempt, but he doesn't. He doesn't set the players up right. So one of my players keeps one of my catchers, Zenedine Zidane, gets pushed into his area, and then he just keeps bashing Zenedine Zidane further and further towards his goal line, and the ball is exposed. So I do a little chain push, make a dodge, pick up the ball, make another dodge, make some go for it with no re-rolls to score at the end of the half to make it 3-0, and Leon felt he kind of deserved that one for not playing that one well. Second half though, after I started complaining about how I wasn't breaking armour, because unless the game is perfect, of course I'm going to complain, the skins all of a sudden start losing their armour. His Croxagore manages to kill a player. Don't think it was anyone important. I think it was just a lineman with wrestle actually. I think it was Roberto Carlos of all people. Another one was a niggling injury which re-rolled into a miss next game. So that's going to be good for you, I believe. It was... Again, it was dominating performance, because once the skinks were off the pitch, it was just easy to grab the ball and run, which is why it ended up being 6, because it just couldn't get... by the end of the game there was like 1 skink on the pitch, and bear in mind he started with some extra skinks because of his low as journeyman because of what was happening. He took Halfling Masterchef as inducements, and he concluded after the game he's never taking Halfling Masterchef ever again.
Hey, it's one of those, isn't it? great when it works, but a waste of a lot of team inducement money when it doesn't. You know.
I mean, it did take 3 rerolls off me, 1 in the first half and 2 in the second, but it just wasn't doing it for him. Yeah, whereas Croxagore was the MVP of the game. It was absolutely amazing, getting an intercept, which is always funny, and lots of injuries. And I don't think it boneheaded once, maybe once, but I don't think it did. Actually, yeah, it didn't bone, because I remember Leon saying there's 2 games in a row that his Croxagore has not boneheaded. Looking at statistics, I have more of the ball, but if you look at those, you realise the ball's on the ground most of the time. Yeah, he's inflicted more injuries, I've inflicted more KOs. Thank you very much, Stunty. So despite making however many passes I made, 3 passes, it's only 14 passing yards. Lots of running yards, obviously, because he's bringing the ball towards me, and then it's getting knocked down. Yeah. SPP, how much SPP have I got there? 18, 24, 25, 28 SPP. Proper elf numbers.
Making up for last week.
Making up for last week. Though 13 SPP for a lizard team is not to be scoffed at. Blackadder's,
No.
yeah, Blackadder's SPP was 2 injuries and an intercept. The Crocodile ones was just an injury, and the Gecko Brothers was just a level up, was just an MVP.
Yeah.
Looking at those dice rolls, anything untoward on mine? I haven't actually looked at this yet, so I mean, technically my pickups are low, but they're within standard deviation. Going for it, yeah, they're fine. We're expecting it. I actually did quite a lot of go for it for once. I think it was because I had rerolls available.
Yeah, lizards are a fast team as well.
Yeah, so nothing too nothing surprising there. Though my dice are a bit high. They're shifted on the higher end. Looking at my block dice, I have nothing to complain about there. I have absolutely nothing to complain about. Nice high amount of powers to pushes, high amount of high amount of stumbles to pushes, high amount of skulls to pushes, but again, even the stumbles and the skulls could be argued to be within standard deviation, but those powers are inexcusable for me. Looking at the lizards, that's a lot of dice being rolled, isn't it? Bonehead doesn't fail once. What a beautiful sight for everyone apart from me. And the corpses in the graveyard. Nice amount of high amount of pickups, which means obviously I was stealing from standing up players. 1 pass succeeds, 1 pass fails. That's what you're expecting with Stunty, isn't it?
Yeah.
1 loner fails, which is a bit of a shame. Thwarted shadowing once, failed it once. That's about where you're expecting, to be honest. Waking up from KOs, you can definitely say he's been a bit unlucky there. Dodges, he didn't make that many dodges in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, that's kind of where you're expecting them. Slightly bit on the higher end of the standard deviation on that. And if we're looking at the block dice, lots of skulls, lots of both downs compared to what you're expecting. Stumbles are probably within standard deviation, and pals are exactly where you're expecting them compared to pushes, which is a real damn shame. So I got lucky, but I also played right. That's my opinion on that one. Yeah, I suspect that the Croc's got a level up because there is no way Blackadder has not got a level up since he's got 6 SPP this match, and I didn't think he had a level up beforehand. Looking at me first, well, look at me because I'm the first name on that list. My level ups: Michael Sagado got dodge, Claude Makalele got diving tackle, and Luis Figo got dodge. That's my 3 level ups. So cha-ching. And then we look. Yeah, all not surprising considering the skills that those players did have. Looking at the lizards, break tackle on Blackadder makes complete sense, though I probably would go for stand firm or guard. Gecko Brothers has not gained a level up, and the other one was Crocodile Ones, I believe, who's gained 2 SPP. No, or was it only Snakes and Geckos? Maybe it was Crocodile Ones, and maybe it was only Snakes and Geckos. Leon claims he's the real winner because he's got little Skittles, and I'm arguing that that joke doesn't work here because it's already gone over Alistair's head.
That's right.
If anyone gets it, like the video, yeah. So yeah, I got lucky. I got lucky with the dice, but I still played well. And finally, Alistair, you get to talk about the final game, which was the only game that we got the prediction bang on. We both said it'll be 2-1 to Ken.
Yeah, I think we didn't do too badly. So Ken gets a blitz, and the kick is fairly close to the touchline, so he's able to break through and get some players down and put the skink under the ball. But I think that he didn't manage to catch the ball though. So Willem's actually able to block everything away from the ball, runs quite deep up the side, and but manages to get some. And so he's able to move the ball forward. Ken, I think it was his second turn, he did something with 1 or 2 players and ended the turn when I felt there was other things he also could have done. So I don't know, Ken, if that was a misclick or part of your greater plan. I'm sure you can let us know. So that was just a bit weird. It was sort of like 1 block end turn. It wasn't turnover. So Will's able Willem, is able to keep running right up to the end zone. Ken is able to start moving players to start threatening the ball carrier and basing it, and Willem doesn't muck about at this point. He just goes for a pass and then gets a touchdown, bringing it to 1-0 quite early into the half.
That's good for Ken, to be honest.
Yeah. But I don't think Willem really had a choice at that point. It was either score or get smashed. So Ken receives the ball, and he just typically Lizards. He's got his Sauruses smashing down one end of the field and clearing the pitch for the skink that has the ball. He manages to put a niggling injury on Willem's player with plus strength and plus edge.
Oof.
But Willem's still fighting. He does do a 1 dice on the ball carrier, but it was a fair 1 dice. It was either do the 1 dice and try and get the ball carrier down, or not bother. So I mean that was fine. He does get the ball carrier down, but the way he's positioned it, because they're quite close to the side, Ken's able to surf off an elf and just basically break through. But there's an awful lot of Ken skinks not wanting to pick up the ball at this point.
Oh dear.
Making it quite difficult. So in the end, Ken has to settle for picking it up with a loner, and he runs the loner down. He gets blitzed and he goes down on a both down, but then he's able to pick it up again with another loner skink because that's all he had available, and he runs it right down to the end zone, but hasn't quite got enough movement to get it in for a touchdown.
I suspect he doesn't risk the go for it.
Willem keeps hitting the ball carrier, brings it down again, but Ken's able to just blitz the 1 elf that has a tackle zone on the ball away, stands up with the loner skink and goes in to score for 1-1. So a bit of a shame it had to be with a loner skink, but that's what was available. So, he didn't take any silly risks to try and make it on somebody else, and I think he made the right decision because Willem wasn't actually down and out. He hadn't taken taken a couple of casualties, but it doesn't mean anything for a high elf team. So I think Ken ultimately made the right decision with just getting that touchdown. We go into the second half at 1-1 with Ken receiving the ball, and it's just the same again. He just starts smashing through the lines with the Sauruses.
Standard Lizard game, to be honest.
But within 2 turns, he's KO'd 3 of the elves.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was basically at that point. That was it. William. I made a note that I can't read, so it can't be that important. He does go for an uphill block, a 2 dice uphill block on the ball carrier, which seems fair enough. But the weird, I'm going to guess this was a misclick. He chose to stumble over a POW on a skink that has dodge. So I think that was possibly a bit of a misclick going on there. And yeah, Ken does bring it in for a touchdown, this time with a couple of turns to spare. I've got a note here. Willem likes long passes. So he had the ball, and I made a mistake when I was watching. He'd done another pass laterally across the field, but no, he'd actually passed it further up the field, which makes a lot more sense. So he was trying to play, and he was trying to compensate for being down the players at this point. But he's actually making good progress up the field. But Ken is, sorry if I keep calling you Leon, Ken. For some reason, I started calling you Leon halfway through this. Ken marks the ball carrier, and he's able to screen with some of his Sauruses. Will does some blitzing. It looks like he's in a pretty good position to equalize, but then he fails a dodge roll. The ball goes out. Ken's able to move the skink in to grab the ball and just run it out of Willem's reach, and just protects the ball enough to end the game at 2-1. I have no idea when that catch went down, by the way, because for some reason I didn't make a note on it. Oh
well. We're definitely not ill. We're definitely not ill.
No, I'm absolutely fine. Honestly. Oh dear.
Alright then, looking at the statistics, obviously skinks are going to be holding the ball for as long as possible, so lots of ball possession for the lizards relative to the elves. Lots of passing more passing by the elves than me, and he did less passes. Obviously not doing that many blocks because obviously you're bashing against the higher strength team. It's like that's not really worth it sometimes. Looking at anything else, yeah, obviously Ken had a slightly better of the bash game. Looks like he's managed to protect it. Looks like he's managed to protect his skinks quite well then, when it comes to the actual numbers themselves. If we look at SPP, 13 SP for Ken, 10 for Willem. Low numbers relative to elves, but the elves were really on the back foot this game, as you said. Looking at the dice rolls, Willem's dice were pretty good.
Yeah, these dice. I wouldn't have said that the dice were favouring either player in that game.
Yeah, not many ones. So other than that, his dice are pretty good. If we look at his block dice, that's some very good block dice compared to considering what you rolled, but the sample size is tiny.
Yeah.
I would say make more blocks, but I'm a hypocrite then.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of fair enough with the elf teams. You're not going to be basing up the opposition as much. It's more about surgical striking than trying to hit everything you can.
Yeah, there's not the least amount of blocks that have been made all season though. I think I've got that record.
Yeah. You're 0 pounds.
0 pounds. Oof. But yeah, let's look at the chameleons. Their D6s. You could say their dice were about where you're expecting them. Nothing's with too far out of standard deviation. It's on the low end of standard deviation, but it's in standard deviation. If we look at their block dice though, everything's about where you're expecting it. Maybe one or two more both downs than you're expecting, and one or two little stumbles than you're expecting, but it's about where you're expecting them, so it's not too bad. And obviously he doesn't need to worry about it, but of course Ken didn't make a single one dice.
No.
And Willem made quite a few one dice, but as you said, you're defending him and then saying it was kind of expected.
Yeah, I mean, the one dice that he was mostly making were like to try and get the ball carrier down and stuff like that. So
I'm proud of you. You didn't rant about one dice this week. You let me point it out.
That's right.
Right then. We're going to look at the league table, and then we're going to look at next week's matches. Or do we look
should we have a look at their teams quickly?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I don't know if anybody leveled up, but
one of Ken's players definitely leveled up, but let's look at the Leviathans first, since they were the first team. Did Alith Athir get Dodge this game. I think it might have. I think that Dodge is new.
Yeah.
I don't think Heart of the Stars Dodge is new though, but I think the Catcher's Dodge is new. We look at Ken's team. Dude, where's my chameleon? One more block. One more player got block. I believe it was Oatl got block. I hate
Well,
lizard names. I hate lizard
this will
names.
be the point, Ken, where you start noticing your team's making a lot more gains. With half your Sauruses having block now, you're going to find that you're not so much at the mercy of the dice as you have been, but that's normal for lizards. But yeah, once you get another 2 Sauruses with block, you'll be practically unstoppable.
What's the important question to ask is how close to a Croxagore is he?
Oh, 20k. Barring really low numbers, he should have one after these next game.
Yeah, I've just checked. Yeah, they are both the numbers. They are the correct. Those 70 players that got a level up. So yeah, we've spoken about Lisbon's time and time again. So let's have a quick discussion about Willem's team then. Lots of dodge. Would you have taken block instead of dodge, considering this league?
Potentially, although I do tend to be. Not that I'm a great elf coach, but I don't know. I do tend to end up leaning towards dodge because of an elf team. You're making more dodges, so maybe that's wise. But block is just as fine a choice, of course, you know. But I don't know. Yes, I've noticed that you tend to go more block first, so I'd probably lean with what you're doing, considering you're the most successful elf coach.
I would go dodge on the catches first because obviously their main objective is to score the touchdowns, and I'd go block on the lineman first normally, or wrestle because that is something that you do need to consider. Willem's got a story in his head about how his team's supposed to be, and then so we'll see where that goes.
Yeah. I mean, none of his level ups that are currently anything I'd be saying, oh, why has he done that? I mean, he hasn't put Catch on a Werewolf, for example.
I think I am going to defend Catch on a Werewolf now. Werewolves are movement 8 player. Catch is a logical choice because they are catches, just like Witch Elves are technically catching pieces.
It's fine. I would disagree with any piece that has Frenzy. You want them in there blitzing, particularly a Frenzy player with Claw.
I also think players with Dauntless shouldn't have catch either, but oh well, turns out they do.
Yeah. But it's fine. You're like Barry. You like building in a passing game, whatever you're playing. You know.
Yeah. I would have waited. I would have waited until he's got a player with a double to get past before starting to build in the catching game. But
it's fine. Sorry. So I mean, the only thing is Willem's put Leap onto a lineman, which I think it's it's not absolutely disastrous. But like you said, he's obviously got an idea of how he wants to build them. But that's the only thing I wouldn't be.
I like it. I think next skill should be pass block, and then the third skill should be dodge. Yeah, make it a super silly player. Then it should be diving tackle, then sidestep. Make it super ridiculous. Do it.
It's not like it's not. I mean, it's an agility 4 player. I mean, it's 3+ to land. It's not the end of the world.
But yeah, that's that. Let's look at the leaderboard this week. We've got me on top with equal points with Phil. I'm obviously on top due to goal difference or touchdown difference, as I'll correct myself to. Rob Top's in third, but he's got a tough game this week. Captain Biggles, that's Daniel. Yeah, Daniel is fifth, 1 point ahead of you and Liam. Then below that we got Matt and Leon with the same record. Both teams have had a tough draw. Matt's been unlucky this season, and Leon's had a tough first few games. I mean, his first loss was to Ken, which was a surprise loss, and his second loss was to... Can't remember who his second loss was to. I think it might have been this week his second loss was. Then we got Ken below that, actually on the same amount of points as Leon, but probably a worse goal difference due to 4 losses. Freddy's Nightmares on 4 points, and Willem quite far at the back, sadly. I reckon his team's going to come together eventually, but he's just not had. He's not had the luck, has he?
No, yeah, he hasn't. He hasn't.
Yeah,
I mean,
not many level ups. I mean, and the one player who did get a level up get killed. It's cruel.
yeah.
It's cruel, but this game is cruel.
So I think at the moment we're probably looking at, the fourth place is definitely still up for grabs. The third place to a lesser extent, but we're at a point now where the top two potential, well, three, I would say as well.
I
It's all
think
how you will do.
so. Importantly to note, I've had quite an easy run in so far. I've got quite a few tough games coming up, so I haven't had a real challenge. And now I'm lower TV than I was at the start of the season, so I am coming through my toughest part of the season.
Yeah.
Um, I do think Leon is going to finish higher than he is. I think, even though I do think he's got. It's a slightly difficult fixture list now, but he's got a chance. He's got a chance. Though we can't count any of the teams really, because you say that Rob Top's got third place. I don't think he has got it yet. It's not secure.
No, I mean, that's what I meant. For Rob Top, it's a lesser extent. I mean, he needs to get make sure he's getting more wins and losses. I mean, but he could swap places with Chris maybe.
Yeah,
But
let's get into the schedule, because speaking of Rob and Chris, this week we see them play each other.
Yes.
This week the top 6 all play each other. I'm playing you. Your Phil is playing. Where's Phil?
We could run down them now.
Phil's playing IDF. Yeah, so yeah. Dude, Where's My Chameleon is playing Freddy's Nightmares. What do you reckon the score's going to be in that game?
I'm going to give it to Dude, Where's My Chameleon? Probably 2-1, because he's in a very different place to where he was at the start of the league. He's got 3 sources of block. Yeah, I think he's got a good chance of tearing through an unleveled up Necro team now.
I kind of agree with you, but I don't think. I think it's going to be 3-1, to be honest. I was going to say 2-1, but I'm going to say 3-1 just so it's different. Go on, Barry, put an upset on us. Prove us wrong. Prove us wrong, guys.
That's what we're always hoping for.
Leviathans versus Flight of the Lizards. Well, this game is going to be interesting. Since you did the first game, I'm doing this game. I'm going to say 2-0 to Leon, because he is no nonsense, and I don't think he's going to give Willem much of a chance. Though Willem could score, but I don't think he will. What about you?
2-1. I think Willem can get at least one touchdown in. He's just going to struggle against again a lot of the Sauruses.
Again, I agree. He could get the touchdown. I don't think he will. We're going to be playing this game right after the video has started to upload. Once the video is uploaded. So, what do you reckon the score in our game is going to be? Go on, trash talk me.
No, I think potentially you have an edge, but I've got to be loyal to my own team, so I'm going to say a 2-2 draw.
You say 2-2 draw. I kind of think that. I actually think that's what it's going to be, because I'm down where I should TV. I've got a babe in this game. I worked out, which is going to be slightly which I guess kind of favours me. But you got a lot of tackle. You got a lot of mighty blow.
Yeah. It's got that could turn out. I mean, don't forget, I'm down 2 players this game as well. I'm nobody too important. A cat, the unleveled cat. No, she's leveled, but a catcher I don't really know what to do with, and a line will wrestle her out this game. But I don't think they're going to make a huge difference.
I really don't know what the score is going to be, so I'm going to say 2-1 to you, just so I can be woohoo. I did better than expected. Stobby Slobs versus Roman Rat. I'm going to start. I'm going to say 3-2 to Chris.
Yeah, I think if Chris can take out
this is our upset. This is the upset of the week, I think. Come on, Chris. Prove me right here. I really want to be proven right on this one. What do you reckon?
I've got to go the other way, just to have it going the other way, really. I think both teams are capable of winning it, and potentially it'll be a good 2-1 win for the Rats, but it's not Rob's fault that he's got some TV problems in his team, because he actually lost another level up gutter runner this season. I mean, he's had to basically re-level up another 3 gutters. He hasn't got anybody in reserve. If Chris can take out the top players out of the Rats, he could definitely win. But I think Rob's aware of that, so he's probably going to be looking to protect those players.
We always talk about how much Daniel and Liam have improved, but I think Chris is also one that should be considered in that vein. He's creeped up and he's getting better and better, and it's very exciting. And then now we got first versus fifth, I believe. Second versus fifth, with the IDF versus Commissioner Gibbs' Barmy Army. Chorf Derby, do you want to start on this one?
Yeah, I probably would go 2-2.
2-2.
Draw it 2-2. I think Daniel can handle Phil. He's on a bit of a disadvantage. He doesn't have as much claw, but
yeah, I think the claw is going to make the difference, and it's going to be 2-0 to Phil. And then finally, Grabbed by the Goodies versus Forgotten Fridge Raiders. This is a game that could go either way. The way Matt's season has gone, it seems it's interesting, because Grabbed by the Goodies is higher, but in most, if we just said Liam versus Matt, you go by statistics, Matt's got this game, but Liam's the one playing better at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think he needed a couple of games to get back into the groove of playing Necromantic, so you can see that he's definitely getting that again, and he's dealing with a lot of losses out of his team. I'm not sure with the games I've watched Matt play in, and I've already played him, I wouldn't say that he's getting bad or off or anything like that. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. I mean, it might just be that it's the lower movement and the lower edge of the Nurgle team is affecting him. And I remember he did pretty well in the side league he played them in. So yeah, I'm not 100%, because like I said, if I haven't I don't think Matt's been playing noticeably worse than you'd expect from him.
But his position does suggest that.
I know.
Just suggested though.
I have no idea what's going on there. So I think Liam stands a good chance. I mean, but I think in fairness, I would give 1-1 draw.
You're going to go 1-1. I'm not going to sit on the fence. So I'm going to say, I'm going to give it to someone. I don't know who I'm going to give it to yet. 2-1. Actually, no. Yeah. 1-0 to Liam.
No, that's a fair prediction.
Yeah. I mean, it could be 1-0 to Matt. But it's just Matt's position is not. He's not where he should be, and it's like there's something going on there. I really want to know what's going on.
There is.
Clearly, it's the strains of Rebel. It's clearly the strains of Rebel.
Yeah. I know he's been a bit busy, but yeah.
But yeah, that's it for us now, guys. It's got an exciting week of matches. Alice has just confirmed the round, so I guess we're starting now. We'll see you guys next week. Nuffle bless.
See ya.